Welcome to vSkills YouTube channel. In this video, you will learn about the top interview questions for data science with Python. So, let's get started. Question number 1. What do you understand by feature vectors? The answer is: a feature vector is an n-dimensional vector of numerical features that represent some object. In machine learning, feature vectors are primarily used to represent numeric or symbolic characteristics, referred to as features, of an object in a mathematical, easily analyzable way. Question number 2. What are the steps in making a decision tree? The answer is: the steps in making a decision tree are: firstly, take the entire dataset as input. Secondly, look for a split that maximizes the separation of the classes. A split is any test that divides the data into two sets. After that, apply the split to the input data. Then, reapply steps 1 to 2 to the divided data. Lastly, stop when you meet some stopping criteria. This step is called pruning. Clean up the tree if you went too far doing splits. Question number 3. What do you understand by root cause analysis? The answer is: root cause analysis has been developed to analyze industrial accidents but is now widely used in other areas. Root cause analysis is a problem-solving technique used for isolating the root causes of faults or problems, such that a factor is referred to as a root cause if its deduction from the problem-fault sequence averts the final undesirable event from reoccurring. Question number 4. What is logistic regression and how does it work? The answer is: logistic regression is referred to as the logit model. It is a technique to forecast the binary outcome from a linear combination of predictor variables. By estimating probability using its underlying logistic function, logistic regression evaluates the connection between the dependent variable, our label for what we want to predict, and one or more independent variables, our features, sigmoid. Question number 5. What do you understand by recommender systems? The answer is: a recommender system, or a recommendation system, sometimes replacing system with a synonym such as a platform or an engine, is a subclass of information filtering system that seeks to predict the rating or preference a user would give to an item. Question number 6. What do you mean by cross-validation? The answer is: cross-validation is a model validation technique used for evaluating how the outcomes of a statistical analysis will generalize to an independent dataset. This technique is mainly used in backgrounds where the objective is forecast and one wants to estimate how accurately a model will accomplish in practice. Question number 7. What do you mean by collaborative filtering? The answer is: collaborative filtering refers to the process of filtering used by most recommender systems to find patterns and information by collaborating perspectives, numerous data sources, and several agents. Question number 8. Can you say that gradient descent methods at all times converge to a similar point? The answer is: no, we cannot say that gradient descent methods at all times converge to a similar point because in some cases they reach a local minimum or a local optima point. You would not reach the global optima point since this is governed by the data and the starting conditions. Question number 9. What is the primary goal of A/B testing? The answer is: A/B testing is a statistical hypothesis testing used for randomized experiments with two variables, A and B. The objective of A/B testing is to detect any changes to a web page to maximize or increase the outcome of a strategy. Question number 10. How do you define the law of large numbers? The answer is: law of large numbers is a theorem that describes the result of performing the same experiment a large number of times. Law of large numbers theorem forms the basis of frequency-style thinking. It infers that the sample means, the sample variance and the sample standard deviation converge to what they are trying to estimate. Question number 11. What do you understand by confounding variables? The answer is: confounding variables refer to extraneous variables in a statistical model that correlates directly or inversely with both the dependent and the independent variables, such that the estimate fails to account for the confounding factor. Question number 12. What do you mean by star schema? The answer is: a star schema is a database organizational structure optimized for use in a data warehouse or business intelligence that uses a single large fact table to store transactional or measured data and one or more smaller dimensional tables that store attributes about the data. Question number 13. How often must an algorithm be updated? The answer is: we would want to update an algorithm when the model to evolve as data streams through infrastructure, or the underlying data source is changing. or when there is a case of non-stationarity. Question number 14. What do you mean by eigenvalue and eigenvector? The answer is: eigenvectors are used for understanding linear transformations. In the process of data analysis, we usually calculate the eigenvectors for a correlation or covariance matrix. On the other hand, eigenvalues are the directions along which a particular linear transformation acts by flipping, compressing or stretching. Question number 15. What is the purpose of resampling? The answer is: the purpose of resampling is: firstly, estimating the accuracy of sample statistics by using subsets of accessible data or drawing randomly with replacement from a set of data points. Secondly, substituting labels on data points when performing significance tests. Lastly, validating models by using random subsets. Question number 16. What do you mean by selective bias? The answer is: selection bias is a kind of error that occurs when the researcher decides who is going to be studied. It is usually associated with research where the selection of participants isn't random. Question number 17. What is survivorship bias? The answer is: survivorship bias is the logical error of focusing aspects that support surviving some process and casually overlooking those that did not due to the lack of prominence. This can lead to wrong conclusions in numerous different means. Question number 18. What is the usage of decorators? The answer is: decorators in Python is primarily used to modify or inject code in functions or classes. By using decorators, we can wrap a class or function method call so that a piece of code can be executed before or after the execution of the original code. Also, decorators can be used to check for permissions, modify or retract the arguments passed to a method, logging the calls to a specific method. Question number 19. What is the init method in Python? The answer is: init is a reserved function in Python classes that is equivalent to constructors in OOP terminology. When a new object is created, the init method is automatically invoked. As soon as the new object is created, this procedure allocates memory to it. Variables can also be initialized using this way. Question number 20. What are the differences between local and global variables in Python? The answer is: any variable declared inside a function is referred to as a local variable, and its accessibility is limited to that function. On the other hand, any variable defined outside the function is referred to be a global variable, and it can be accessed by any function in the program. Question number 21. What is type conversion in Python? The answer is: type conversion is a feature provided by Python that allows you to convert one data type into the desired one. Type conversion is divided into two categories. First, implicit sort conversion. In this type of conversion, the Python interpreter aids in the automatic conversion of one data type to another without the need for user intervention. Second, explicit type conversion. In this type of type conversion, the user changes the data type to a needed type. Question number 22. What are negative indices, and why do we utilize them? The answer is: we just utilize the index of the element, which is the position number of that particular element, to get an element from an ordered sequence. The index normally starts at 0, thus the first element has index 0, the second has index 1, and so on. Question number 23. What do you mean by the split, sub, and subn methods of the Python remodule? The answer is: these methods are used to change strings. First method is split. This is a method for converting a string into a list. The second method is sub. This method finds a substring that fits a regex pattern, then replaces the found substring with a different string. And the last method is subn. This method is similar to sub, but instead of returning the new string, it returns the number of replacements. Question number 24. What is a map function in Python? The answer is: in Python, the map function has two parameters: function and iterable. The map method accepts a function as an input and applies it to all of the components of an iterable, which is supplied to it as a second parameter. It produces a list of results in the form of an object. Question number 25. Why Python is an object-oriented language? The answer is: with the exception of access specifiers, Python follows an object-oriented programming paradigm and includes all of the essential OOPS concepts such as inheritance, polymorphism, and more. Strong encapsulation is not supported in Python, adding a private keyword before data members. It does, however, have a data hiding convention, which is to preface a data member with 2 underscores. Question number 26. What is the difference between pickling and unpickling? The answer is: the Python object is accepted by the pickle module, which turns it into a string representation and saves it to a file using the dump method. Pickling is the name for this method. On the other hand, unpickling is the process of recovering the original Python objects from the string representation. Question number 27. What does encapsulation mean in Python? The answer is: in Python, encapsulation refers to the process of combining variables and functions into a single object or capsule. The best example of encapsulation in Python is the class. Question number 28. Why isn't all the memory deallocated when Python exits? The answer is: when Python quits, some Python modules, particularly those with circular references to other objects or objects referred from global namespaces, are not necessarily destroyed or deallocated. It is not feasible to deallocate memory that has been reserved by the C library. Python would try to deallocate every object on exit because it has its sufficient cleanup mechanism. Question number 29. What is polymorphism in Python? The answer is: polymorphism refers to a code's ability to take on various forms. For example, if the parent class has a method named iz, the child class can have a method named iz with its variables and parameters. Question number 30. What does Thinter mean to you? The answer is: Thinter is a built-in Python tool for creating graphical user interfaces. It is Python's standard GUI development toolkit. Thinter is included with Python, therefore there is no need to install it separately. Importing it into your script will allow you to begin using it. For more such videos, subscribe to our channel.